A crop-dusting plane dreams of competing in a famous aerial race, but only has one problem. He is hopelessly afraid of heights. With the support of his mentor and a host of new friends, the plane sets off to make his dreams come true. Today, we will recap the story of the 2013 movie, Planes. In the opening of the movie, we see two crop duster planes flying in tandem and spreading fertilizer on the crops below. Dusty, a young crop duster plane who spends his free time practicing aerobatic maneuvers in the cornfield, dreams of becoming a racer. However, his partner Lee Bottom scorns his aspirations, reminding him that he was designed to be a crop duster and should stick to that. After finishing his daily chores, Dusty takes a rest and gets his parts checked by his friend Dottie, a forklift. She notices that some of his parts are worn and asks if he engaged in any strenuous activities. Their truck friend Chug reveals to Dottie that Dusty has been racing, which infuriates her. She warns Dusty that racing will result in his parts wearing out quickly and that he should stick to crop dusting. Despite the warning, Dusty has been training to qualify for the upcoming Wings Around the Globe rally. That night, Chug tells Dusty about an elderly Navy warplane named Skipper, who can teach him how to race. Dusty visits Skipper's hangar to ask him to be his coach, but he's turned away. The day of the qualifiers arrives, and Chug and Dottie accompany Dusty to the venue where they see other race jets. Repslinger, the three-time champion of the rally, finishes his race and drives away amid the paparazzi. Other planes race to qualify for the competition, but no one beats Repslinger's time. It soon becomes Dusty's turn to race, and as he heads towards the starting line, the other planes make fun of him, saying that he belongs on a farm. Despite feeling discouraged by the other plane's words, Dusty decides to compete in the race. He flies through the designated routes and crosses the finish line, but only manages to secure 7th place. Unfortunately, only the top 6 racers qualify for the competition, so Dusty misses out. His friends console him, and they return to their normal routine. However, one day, a delivery man arrives at the farm looking for Dusty. He informs him that one of the qualifiers was disqualified for using illegal fuel, and Dusty is selected to replace him in the competition. This news excites Dusty, and he begins his training with renewed vigor. He faces several challenges during training, including his fear of heights. Skipper, who initially refused to coach him, eventually agrees to be his mentor, and they work hard to improve Dusty's flying skills. As the competition approaches, Dusty prepares to travel alone in New York City for the race, as his friends cannot accompany him. However, they promise to support him from their hangar. While watching Dusty on TV, he arrives in New York City and heads to the airport terminal. He has some difficulty in landing, as he initially lands in the wrong spot and nearly gets crushed by a passenger plane, but manages to move away just in time. Dusty heads to the area where the other planes participating in the competition are based. As he walks in, they recognize him as the farm crop duster and start taunting him. Nevertheless, he moves around to watch other planes as they arrive and sees a Mexican racer named El Chupacabra. Dusty and the other race cars are taken to the area where they all will be maintained for the upcoming competition. On the day of the competition, the planes head out onto the track and the spectators cheer for them. The competition is also aired on TV, so different people gather around to watch. At the track, the planes are introduced by the commentators, and everyone is surprised to see Dusty participating in the long-distance race around the globe as a crop duster. The spectators bet that he won't make it. The race soon kicks off for the first leg, which is from New York to Iceland, and the planes take off. However, Dusty doesn't fly high like the rest of the planes and maintains a lower altitude. He finally arrives in Iceland amid the snow and goes to the hangar where the other planes have already landed. Dusty finishes last, shivering as the other planes make fun of him. He heads over to his fireplace where he takes a hot drink and communicates with his friends at home. Skipper advises Dusty to try flying higher and gives him some instructions to help him in the race. Meanwhile, the Mexican racer, El Chupacabra, tries to impress a French plane named Rochelle, but she doesn't pay him any attention. The second leg of the race begins with the plane that won the previous leg starting first. This plane belongs to Repslinger. Dusty sets off the race and still maintains his last position. During the flight, one of the planes named Bulldog develops a fault and struggles to maintain his position. Dusty shows good sportsmanship by helping him until they land, surprising everyone and winning Bulldog's respect. However, he still finishes last again. Repslinger approaches Dusty and makes fun of him, saying that he will continue finishing last if he remains nice. Dusty feels sad that he has been consistently in last position. El Chupacabra sympathizes with him and shares his own difficulty in getting Rochelle's attention. They both walk around the bar and are approached by a little flying car, a fan of Dusty. The fan suggests that Dusty removes his spray tank to enable him to fly better. Dusty goes to the mechanic and removes his spray tank, which makes him feel lighter and improves his flight performance. The third leg of the race begins and the destination is India. The planes set off again for the race, and during this particular race, Dusty performs excellently to the satisfaction of the audience. He gradually moves up on the scoreboard and becomes the center of attention for the commentators and spectators. They finally arrive in India, and the paparazzi surround Dusty, asking him questions about his performance. Ripslinger says that he no longer has the attention of the paparazzi and becomes jealous of Dusty. He goes into his hangar to discuss his next race with his friends at home, and Skipper tells him that he will have to fly high above the mountains of the Himalayas. El Chupacabra, Ripslinger's newly found friends, joins him, and they engage in a discussion. Soon, another plane named Ishani joins them, and Chupacabra excuses himself. Ishani then asks Dusty to join her on a ride, and he agrees. They begin their flight across the sky in India, and Ishani takes him to the temple in India. Dusty is marveled as he flies over the building. She then suggests to Dusty to use the rail tracks on their next race since he likes flying low. Dusty agrees and thanks her. The next leg of the race kicks off and the planes head towards the mountains of the Himalayas. The other planes fly up to the sky to go over the mountains while Dusty flies low and tries to follow the rail tracks as Ishani recommended. At first, he gets scared and turns back, but after gathering courage, Dusty flies into the rail tracks and sees a train coming in the opposite direction, which scares him. The train also notices him and applies brakes to avoid a collision. Soon, Dusty appears in the sky and flies towards a temple where he asks for his location. Some forklifts approach him and inform him that he is in Nepal and that he has won the first position. Other planes soon arrive and congratulate Dusty on his win. He is also surrounded by paparazzi who ask him several questions. He then sees Ishani, who has a new propeller gifted by Ripslinger, and scolds her for working with Ripslinger to put him in harm's way. Dusty goes to confront Ripslinger and jokes about the fact that he won despite Ripslinger's antics. The race continues, and to everyone's surprise, Dusty remains at the top of the chart, which makes Ripslinger furious. In Shanghai, China, Dusty talks to Skipper, who informs him that their next race will be across the Pacific Ocean. Dusty asks for advice, but Skipper just advises him to be careful. Meanwhile, Chug and Dottie announce to Dusty that they will be in Mexico to support him. That same night, El Chupacabra goes to Rochelle's place to spend the night and starts singing to her, but she dislikes his performance and shuts the windows and doors on him. Dusty arrives and shows his Mexican friend the group of singers he found for him. The singers go over to Chupacabra, and they all break into a romantic jazz song. Rochelle hears the music and opens her window to watch Chupacabra and the band perform. She is impressed and commends him for the beautiful and romantic rendition. After the performance, she goes to bed, and the Mexican plane expresses his gratitude to Dusty as they head back to their different hangars. The next day, Ripslinger plots with his teammates to make Dusty drop out of the race. At the time of the race, all the planes assemble at the China International Airport to fly their sixth leg to Mexico. This leg will be the longest as the planes have to pass through the Pacific Ocean. Suddenly, two of Ripslinger's teammates appear from the clouds and cut off Dusty's antenna, causing it to fall into the ocean. Dusty becomes confused and tries to continue the race, but his fuel tank becomes empty, leaving him stranded in the air. He tries to call for help, but to no avail until a US Navy plane appears behind him and announces that he is in their coordinates. Dusty apologizes and explains that his antenna is faulty and that he has an empty tank. They take him to their ship, where he undergoes repair. While on the US Navy ship, Dusty comes across the Jolly Ranchers Wall of Fame and starts looking for Skipper, the legendary World War II fighter pilot who had inspired him. He finds him, but is surprised to see that he only has one medal. Dusty calls Skipper to announce his location and asks about his missions, and Skipper sadly reveals that he only went on one mission. After the maintenance, Dusty is told to continue his race as a storm is approaching. Despite being far behind his competitors, he heads out to continue his journey. While flying, Dusty continues to ruminate over the fact that Skipper had only one mission, but had told him stories of several missions. He soon encounters the storm, which tosses him around as he tries to fly higher. Unfortunately, he is ultimately attacked by a wave that throws him into the ocean, and he drowns after struggling for some time. A few moments, a rescue team finds Dusty and lifts him out of the water. They take him to Mexico, where other racer planes, including Chubbs, Dottie, and Skipper, have already arrived. Dottie takes Dusty to the hangar, where he is checked and they discover that he has multiple malfunctions. Dottie announces that he can no longer continue the race. Feeling frustrated, Dusty turns to Skipper to confront him about the lies he had been told about his experiences on the Navy ship. Skipper asks everyone to excuse him, and Dusty, as he begins telling him the story of his first and only mission, where his entire team was attacked and destroyed, and he was the only survivor. Since then, he hasn't brought himself to fly again. Dusty hears the entire story, but is still upset about the lies he was told. The next day, the planes who had developed a friendship with Dusty come to his hangar and gift him with spare parts, which he uses to continue the journey. Ishani hands him the new propeller, which Ripslinger had given her. Afterward, Dusty is taken aside and his old parts are replaced with new ones. He begins practicing for the finals. On the day of the final leg, all the planes head to the tracks to prepare for the race. However, Skipper stays back at the hangar, still feeling sad about everything that has happened. The race kicks off, and Dusty starts last since he took the last position in the previous race. He finally takes off and gradually passes the planes that went before him, leaving just Ripslinger ahead of him. Suddenly, Ripslinger's teammates appear out of nowhere, and they all try to put Dusty down. Then, Skipper appears and fights off Ripslinger's teammates, while Dusty tries to evade Ripslinger. Dusty is so excited to see Skipper flying and coming to his aid, and the older plane instructs him to continue his race. Dusty then decides to stay off Ripslinger's route and overcomes his fears of heights as he accelerates high into the clouds to race there. The finish line gradually comes into sight, and it seems like Ripslinger is going to win the competition for the fourth time. The green plane flies towards the finish line and poses for the cameras, but unknown to him, Dusty is following him closely. As Ripslinger poses for the camera, Dusty uses the opportunity to overtake him and swiftly races to the finish line, cutting the ribbon to Ripslinger's surprise. Everyone gathered immediately starts celebrating Dusty, and the paparazzi also come out to surround him. The other planes land and go to congratulate Dusty on his win. Everyone is excited for Dusty except Ripslinger. Soon, Skipper also arrives at the scene, and Dusty is happy to see that he made it out safely. Later on, Dusty registers with the US Navy, and he and Skipper embark on several missions together, something that Dusty had always dreamed of. And that's a wrap on our recap of Disney's Planes. We hope you enjoyed reliving the exciting journey of Dusty and his friends as they soared through the skies. But now, we're shifting our focus to another beloved character, Astro Boy. While Planes took us on a thrilling adventure through the world of aviation, Astro Boy invites us to explore a futuristic world of advanced technology and robots. This iconic movie has captured the hearts of fans around the globe with its compelling storyline and memorable characters. So buckle up, click this video, and get ready for another exciting ride as we dive into the world of Astro Boy.